What deliberate creation really is allowing yourself to be in the vortex where you are inspired, or where what you really want is revealed to you. And so the deliberateness, let's just apply the deliberate word to, I will deliberately be aware of how I feel, and I will deliberately reach for the best feeling thought that I can find, because I'm deliberately understanding that what I'm deliberately wanting to achieve is deliberate alignment with my emotion. I'm wanting to deliberately create the emotion of well-being, and everything else will follow. Inspiration follows, manifestation follows, everything else will follow that. That's awesome. So what does that mean? How do I get into the vortex? Stop writhing in thinking that you're not in. Stop trying to defend why you're not in. Stop trying to explain why you're not in. Stop trying to compare being in and not being in. Make peace with where you are. Where you are is just fine. Where you are is just fine no matter where it is. Because all you have to do is turn in the direction of the vortex. Right? Right. We're glad you're all in agreement. And have you noticed that as you sit and listen to us ramble on and on and on, that in your willingness to focus where we are, as you listen to what we say, you're feeling the resonance of this knowledge because you already hold it. It is the larger part of what you know. And as you come into alignment with what you really know, that's what this is all about. Just coming into alignment with what you know. So here's what we know about you. You are source energy in physical bodies, and you came here deliberately intending to sift through contrast to put more things in the vortex because it's fun to line up with the things you put in there. And it wouldn't be fun to line up if you were not lined up. In other words, you got to be out in order to like getting in. And if you weren't out, you'd never put anything in. That's why you came. So isn't it all right no matter where you are? Isn't it all right no matter where you are? Isn't it all right no matter where you are? Isn't it all right no matter where you are? Say yes or we'll keep going. Isn't it all right? No matter where you are. Isn't it all right? And isn't it better than all right? Isn't it really good where you are no matter where you are? Aren't you blessed that you're blind? Just kidding. But really, aren't you blessed? Aren't you blessed that you have the clarity to desire? Isn't that always a blessing? Especially when you know what you know. Now, it's not a blessing if you don't know what you now know. If you didn't know what you now know, we wouldn't have the audacity to call unwanted things a blessing, even though we know they are, because it would upset you too much. But now you know what you know. It really doesn't matter where you are, does it? It doesn't matter where you are. When you go on a vacation, do you stand at your starting place and just wail? Oh, where are you going? Oh, the Caribbean. Why are you crying? Because I'm here. I'm here instead of there. Well, why don't you just start heading in that direction? Oh, because I'm so not there yet. I'm so not there. Do you know how long I've been here? I was born here. My parents were born here. I hardly ever go anywhere other than here. But I thought you said you were going. I am. I'm going. What are you going to do? I don't know. I can't use my imagination. All I know is the absence of it. The absence. There's no ocean here. There's no tequila. There's no music. We're mocking you. We are. We're mocking you. There is not a more dominant vibration. There's a matching vibration. In other words, they couldn't bring you down if you didn't have a proclivity to go there. And the reason that you have a proclivity to go there is just out of habit of going there.
Yeah.
You've done that all your life. Everyone has. It's just never bothered you like it bothers you now because you've tasted the sweetness of the other. In other words, your standards are now higher. You're not willing to go there. Oh, and then there's other stuff. They talk drivel. They talk about unimportant things. They're just going on and on about things that are so not important. In other words, there's so many more meaningful things that you could be talking about than the things that most people are talking about because they're not knowing what you're knowing. So when you relax and acknowledge that they're all where they are and it's perfect where they are, and they're living the life that they're living, and you are in complete rapturous adoration of whatever it is that they are living, because it's all contributing to what you're putting into your vortex. Then it all gets soft, and you find yourself just loving them all, even if they're not loving you. And that's where freedom really breaks loose for you. Freedom of resistance, which is the only freedom that there ever is freedom from resistance. When you're able to love someone who isn't loving you, then they must come to your level if there is to be an interaction. Which means if you're steadily here, they can't show up at the same hostel with you, because one who's connected to this stream, one who's in this vibrational place, is more powerful than millions who are not, you see. So now, if you were just coming to the chair now and you were wanting to have this conversation, how would it sound now? I like being who I am, and often I am. And I want to be who I really am more often. Here's something that's really interesting, and it's something that most people are unaware of, but you ought to be aware of it because we've talked about things like it for a long while. So we're just going to create this basis of understanding, and then everything's just going to click into place for you. Most of this you could speak clearly to us, but there's a missing piece for you that you're about to feel break loose. So we all know about law of attraction, and you get it, that wherever you've got your radio dial set, that's what's going to come back to you. So if you've got it in your head for whatever reason, probably from validation from other people, that they're not really receptive to you, as you notice that they're not, then they're not, and as they're not, you notice that they're not, and then they're not, and then you notice that they're not, and then they're not. So it's like you create the scenario. Different places, different faces, but the same sort of experience keeps occurring. So law of attraction is the basis of all things. We've established that. And what you're feeling and what you're thinking is what you keep getting more of. And so you want to figure out how to break that cycle. So because law of attraction only gives you things that are in the vicinity of where you are, it's logical that once you've decided, as you spoke rather clearly, that people are sort of put off by you, then those are the people that you most have access to. So let's just say that people are running around and they're on all different vibrational wavelengths. And we're going to make a really powerful statement here that we've not made before, but it really is amplified by this conversation that we're having. Where you are vibrationally is so where you are, vibrationally, is so where you are, that your most satisfying communication is with other people that are right there where you are. So let's say that law of attraction could really mess up, and that you could be in this high-flying, really good vibrational vortexual place, and you could end up at one of those hostels with someone who's really in a... Now, law of attraction can't give you that, but let's say it did. Or let's say that it's something even close to that. So you're here and they're here. What's happening is, at unconscious levels, they are doing everything in their power in their quest to communicate, to get you to come to where they are. Because there's no communication, there's no experience. And so, without meaning to, they would like you to be there, but it's happening even on unconscious levels. And if you're not really caring about how you feel, you'll go there easily. And when you go there, it's not their disapproval of you that you're feeling. It's your lack of resonance with who you really are that you're feeling. Did you get that? Oh. People have been saying things for a while like, well, they're just trying to bring you down to their level. Well, they are. So they see someone like you. You look as if your appearance is one, and we're not just talking about the beauty of who you are physically. We're talking about your vibrational appearance. You have knowledge. You have eagerness. You have a desire to fulfill your life experience. You are radiating. We saw you back there from the moment that the gathering began, and we're just waiting for the resistance to be at its softest ebb before we bring you forward. In other words, you are unmistakable. You are radiating, and you are a pain in the whatever to people who aren't there, who want to be there. In other words, what bothers them about you is that you live what they want to live, and they don't know what to do about it. So they offer the vibration of where they are, and at unconscious levels really are wanting you to join them there. And because you are compliant with that, when you join them there, then it's your disconnection is too strong a word, but it's the putting the bushel over the light of who you are that makes you feel that discomfort. It's not their approval or disapproval that you have ever been seeking. You came to birth desires. And we want to say to you that in the birthing of the desire, you have birthed a manifestation. But again, you don't want to hear us say that, do you? You don't want to dream of the car, you want the car. You don't want to dream of more prosperous times, you want the money and you want it now. But if we can convince you that if you would just go with the feeling of it, if you would just stop taking score of what's filled in, it will fill in. But it's a tricky thing, because what we're saying to you is, want it for the thrill of wanting it, want it for the joy, for the thrill of the freshness of the desire, and hold that place, and then it has to fill in. But then that's tricky, because now you're doing it for ulterior motives. Now you're not doing it for the joy. You're doing it because you want the details to fill in, and you want the car in the garage, or the lover in your bed, or the money in your bank. And so as long as you want it for those reasons, and those reasons aren't fulfilled, you're so bright, you're aware that those reasons aren't fulfilled. You know what your bank balance is, and it's unfortunate that you know that. Because if you didn't know that, you could dream a little longer. If you weren't taking score of what's manifested in the full-blown, detailed, spectacular physical version, and instead you would take score of what's manifested in the fact that this fresh new desire is within you and it feels good, then you'd have it, you see. That's what we desire for you, because we feel the freshness of your desire. We have the wonderful experience of getting to stand in your vortex where every new desire you hatch is. And as far as we are concerned, since we are vibrational beings, and your new desires are vibrational also, then we get to revel in the fullness of your vibrational creations. And if you would revel in the fullness of the vibrational creation, then the manifestation that you call real life would have to come to be. We know it must be so annoying for you to interface with someone like us who is so vibrationally focused that we think it is the main event. Because it is the main event. You are vibrational beings too, you just don't know it. You've become so adept at translating vibration into this real life stuff that you're hung up on the real life stuff. And we're not trying to detract you from the real life stuff. We're not trying to get you to not want the car or the tactile things or the lover or the touch. We're not wanting to take you away from that, because in fact, this is the leading edge of all of that manifestation. This wonderful life in which you live is the furthest reaching manifestation of that which we all are. You came as spiritual beings into a world that will show itself to you in the fullest of spiritual sense through the physical tactile things that you find delicious around you. We're not trying to talk you out of it. We're just trying to show you how, if you could lighten up a little on the what isness in terms of the stuff, and focus more fully on the isness in terms of the way you feel, then the stuff would match the way you feel. Oh, it already does. The stuff already does match the way you feel. So the question is, do you feel discouraged that the stuff seems to be missing? Because if you do, it will remain missing. Because the manifestation of the stuff follows precisely the manifestation of the emotion. That's why we want so much for you to make the manifestation of the emotion not just your main event, the only event that you're focused upon. So, what do you think about today? You felt things shift, didn't you? You are the creator of your own reality, and your own reality is a perceptual thing. And you perceive through your emotions, whether you admit it or not. You are the creator of your emotional state.